evening, everybody, and welcome to the Fallout Bar after day 14 of the Paddy Power World Darts Championship. Joined again, as ever, by Carwyn Evans, and back on the show with us for the first day of 2025, Mr. Jack Garwood. Jack, how are you?
You make it sound like I'm never here, mate. I've done plenty of these now for the world.
No, you weren't here. You weren't here on the last one of 2024. We had a special guest for that. We had Anthony on with us.
I went drinking with Henry Deacon.
God, I'd rather have been on here.
Good night.
Sorry, Henry. And Carwyn, you're back as ever. How are you?
Oh, I'm all right. You know, sort of not the best way to start the new year, seeing the last Welshman depart, Ali Pally, but no, it's good to be back. It feels like it's the home stretch now as we sort of wrap up another good World Championship.
Yeah, you've gone with your Welsh outfit again. You've got your red and white rugby shirt on. I thought you'd have gone with the full black suit, black tie, just in mourning at the last one leaving us today in Gezi Price. But I like the commitment, sticking to it.
Yeah, didn't feel Gezi played well enough for me to don the black suit today. Then, so I thought I'd go with it, stick with the red and white.
Fair enough. Well, commitment to it as ever from you. I love to see it, and commitment to being on this show again. Got plenty of people in the chat room already. Probably caught a few people out because we're actually on at a reasonable time tonight as well. Got through it a little bit quicker with it being down to just 2 games in each session and only the extra set. And to be fair, none of them were that close, were they either?
No, none of them went the final set thriller we all wanted. But yeah, I thought the winners played decent across all 4 matches.
Yeah, as we said, obviously everyone in the chat room, get involved as ever. If you're trying to get involved and you can't, remember you do need to click the subscribe button before we'll let you get involved in the chat. Drop us a like as well if you are in there. But yeah, just to run through a few we've got in there already. Jack's in there, Norval's in there, we've got Jonathan in there as well. All boxed up in as ever. I think he's been in as many times as you have this week, Carwyn, along with a few of the others here, like Daniel and Preston. Adam's in again as well. Azzy and Jesus Christ, we've got Jarlath Eaton in the chat as well. He's asking for some new talent. Well, you're welcome to come on whenever you want. You only did the day that Barney was in, and then obviously he didn't make it any further, so you didn't come back on. So
He's been grounded ever since.
That's it. Yeah. That's it. Barney went. The plastic Irishman didn't have any other Irish players to support, and he's not been back on since. But he's in the chat room, so get involved in the chat room at least, Jarlath. We'll get right into it then as well, should we? And we'll start with the first game of the day, which will come to you, Carwyn, first on this one, as it is your last chance to be the Welsh correspondent for the tournament. Chris Doby defeated Gerwen Price 5-3. It was a good start again from Gezi in this one, but just wasn't able to kick on from there like we've seen a couple of times from him in this tournament. And this time it turned out that his opponent, Chris Doby, was too good and managed to hold on.
Yeah, it was. He sort of just disappeared off the board. Really. He had the first, as you said, first 2 good sets, and then he didn't hit 180 for 4 sets. He threatened a mini comeback, but I feel like the damage was done. And worrying from a Gerwen Price fan's point of view is not the fact that he missed so many darts at a double. It was the distance he was missing them by. It wasn't as if they were sort of bending the wire. Some of them were closer to the treble or the outside wire with the numbers around them. So I feel like it's probably he's done better maybe than a lot expected in getting this far, because obviously his form wasn't great. But we've seen glimpses from him that the game is coming back. But I thought Doby took his chances well until the final 2 sets. And then I sort of thought, will he be able to hit the winning double to get over the line? Because nerves certainly played their part. And to hit 2 doubles to win it was was not on my bingo card the way things were going. But no, credit to him, as in he patiently waited and grew into the game. And once he got ahead, he just never looked back then. His 180 hitting, just an outscoring Gerwen Price was a big factor.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I said out loud as I was sat here watching it with the missus this afternoon that I fancied Doby more on that 92 than I fancied him if he had 3 straight darts at a double at that point. I don't know whether you felt the same on that one, Jack, but you just felt like if he'd been left on 32 or something similar, he might well have missed all 3. But coming
Gets
on
a
the
bit edgy,
combination,
goes wild, but once you got one to follow in, then he's set of it. Yeah, I get what you mean. I absolutely love, and I said this on Twitter, and it sounds horrible. I love watching the pressure get to people. I love watching the moment that you can just see somebody crumble from inside. And nowhere was that more obvious than when Chris Doby hit double 19 in the middle of the scoring phase at one point.
oh yeah, that was
like, at that point, Chris Doby is gone. Like, he knows how important this is, and he is crumbling under that weight. Fortunately for him, Gezi sort of took his foot off the gas again. Bit earlier on, pivotal. That third set seemed to be the undoing for Gezi, didn't it? Against Doby, similar against Clayton. That was only let him back in. All right, Cullen started fighting back in the fourth, but it was the third set where the double started to go a bit awry for Price as well. Just seems to be the story of his season, doesn't it?
Yeah, in fairness, I don't think he did anything wrong in that third set today, though. Like, you could level that at him against Johnny, where he completely fell off a cliff. He averaged 105 in that third set, but Doby just seriously upped it in that one. And then sort of from there, we did then see Gezi sort of drop off a little bit. Big win for Doby, though. And like you say, impressive for him to get over the line in the end after, like, that first start at double 10 was honestly closer to my house than it was to the double 10.
It sounds to me because you live bloody miles away.
Correct, all the way up north.
Grim up there.
It's lovely up here. I mean, there's a lot of flooding about at the moment, which is strange. I don't know where this rain's coming from. Someone must have brought it from somewhere else because we don't usually have any up in Manchester. But...
Great work for that.
As ever, we heard from Chris Doby after the game, and all the clips will always be on the YouTube in full. We'll speak to all the winners as we go through the tournament, as we always do. So once you're done with us, pop over there, have a listen to them all in full. But we have got a clip from Chris Doby, so he spoke to Phil after his win.
Yeah, of course, and thoughts did go through my head at the break. Just please not again. Just go out there and prove that you can do it. And honestly, throwing to win the match there, it was so nerve-wracking as well. I had the crowd on my side, and then when Gezi pinched it, the crowd started to turn and started chanting his name as well. So yeah, it was a bit up and down, but I'm delighted to be sat here and looking forward to the semi-final. Yeah, it's got to. I've getting over that winning line, the hoodoo, how you say it. Yeah, it's kind of forgetting about now. I know I've done it. I've literally took that next step in my career, I can say, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
We obviously know you won the Masters, but was that a bigger game than the Masters final because of last year and what goes with it, the semi-final and so on? Yeah,
100%. Just look what's at stake. I think I got told, Max told us, I think I've pushed up to the top 10 in the world now, which is a career high for me. And yeah, it's taking them steps, and it's got to be bigger. I know Masters is a big title, TV title, and but it's the biggest competition of them all. The prize money is a massive boost to your rankings, and yeah, look, I'm in the top 10 now, and yeah, hopefully there's no stopping us now.
He is in the top 10 now. I don't know what happened in the middle of that video, but he suddenly started shouting. I don't know whether that's the same for everyone else as they were listening to it. But yeah,
it was Barzi's question, so he whacked it up so everyone knows how important he is.
Yeah, maybe he did. Yeah, into the top 10 in the world. He's one win away from being in the top 4 as well, if he makes the final, which is huge for Chris Doby and his career going forwards. And big game up next, but one that he'll certainly feel is winnable against the winner of our second quarter-final today, which was Michael van Gerwen defeating Callum Ridds 5-3. This was another good performance from Michael van Gerwen, wasn't it, Gob?
It was really good from Van Gerwen, and I'll be honest, it was one that even as the performance was unfolding, I didn't expect from him to continue. The constant weakness in Van Gerwen's game this year has been an indifference in form, even within a game. Like, he can go berserk for 3, 4, 5 legs, but it's maintaining that level that's been the issue. We're seeing a lot of averages in the mid-90s that are built up of sets or bursts where he averages 105, 106, and then sets or bursts when he averages 80-odd. That didn't seem to happen in this game. He just stayed pretty solid. Callan threw an awful lot at him. Had a couple of chances early on, perhaps. I think it was set 2 or 3 where you're looking at it going. He definitely had a chance to win set 1 that went Michael's way as well. Missed top to that 1-1-3. Levels again. But because he was just constantly chasing and Van Gogh and just kept keeping him at arm's length, it just became that little bit more difficult for Callan to sprint off and basically stick it to Michael when he needed to.
Yeah, that's it. And it's one of those performances that you look at from Callan. He's ahead on every metric, basically. He's hit more 180s, more 140s, more tons. He was better on the doubles and he's won more legs and he's lost 5-3. But the key thing here for me, Carwin, is the fact that every single set that went all the way, Michael Van Gerwen won, and he won 4 of them 3-2. And that is the big difference in this game.
Yeah, and that's what Van Gerwen knows how to do, isn't it? As in, he knows if
Go on, give us your quote. You've been giving us the quote all the way through. Give us your Michael Van Gerwen quote.
It's about doing the right thing at the right time, and that's what he's an expert at doing it, because he's been there enough times to know when important moments in matches, and it was again there were signs there that the Michael of old is returning, and I know he's not hitting the number he was hitting, but just in terms of winning those crucial moments in matches and in set play, that's what you've got to do. You don't have to win any stats apart from the most sets, and that's what he did. He got over the line, and because both players I thought played well in terms of both players being in the match. This was probably the closest one, but yeah, it was just the second half of the game. I don't think he averaged less than a ton in any set, and getting into the business end of the tournament, that'll certainly put him in a good frame of mind to hopefully for his case to make another final and possibly add another world title to the collection.
Yeah, it was very much another. Well, it's 2 games in a row we've seen from him now where he's done this as well, where he hasn't had that dip, he hasn't fallen away. He's maintained his level throughout and stayed at that ton plus throughout. For Callan Rydz in this one, yes, he's lost in a quarter-final, but is it a little bit like, we were talking about this on the last 4 bar of 2024 as well, that sometimes in defeat, your stock can go up, and he sort of comes out of this having done nothing wrong at all. And he's had a really good tournament still. Like I say, it's not always about winning. It is a lot of the time about what this tournament can do for you in terms of your year going forwards and your career going forwards. There's still a lot of positives to take for Callan Rydz off the back of this, isn't there, Gob?
There is. The worry is that Callan strikes me as one of the most volatile players on tour in terms of routine and settling in and just being in the right space of mind to play darts. We've seen him earlier this year not happy with his setup a couple of times on social media, saying that he can't keep doing this, it's not right for him, etc. So as long as he can stay positive and kick on with it, yes, 100% it is the perfect opportunity to push on. People are fully aware of how much talent he's got. The worry is that if he reverts back to the Callan of 9 months ago, it becomes a bit of a sitting duck within the floor events as well. I just want to bring up a couple of things that we've seen in the chat room as well. Someone's saying that the decide and legs in sets was key. MVG winning 4 of those, Rydz none in those sets. MVG was 4 from 8 on the doubles, Rydz 0 from 4. Rydz is also the only player in PDC World Championship history to have recorded a higher average than his opponent, hit more 180s than his opponent, won more legs than his opponent, had a higher doubles percentage than his opponent, and to have lost by 2 sets.
It is mental, but it is very much like we say, it is doing the right things at the right times, and MVG is the master of that.
Yeah.
And
shout out to Wikipedia for that last stat, by the way. The stats community in darts are unbelievable, but they're both from the same person at Wikipedia on Twitter.
Yeah, fair play. That is an excellent start. I had a friendly little wager with Mr. Jarlath Eaton on whether MVG would win this. I'm starting to get a little bit worried about my 10 English pounds at this point because he looks good at this stage.
In patches, I think there's been enough B-game set performances from him for you to still be quietly confident. I think the 2 players in the top half have played better in this tournament, and obviously he'll have to meet one of them in the final should he make it. And I guess with it in his match against Doby, it all depends what sort of was Doby's goal pre-tournament. If he was sort of thinking, right, make it in the top 10 and hopefully get a place in the Premier League and the semi-final, then will he maybe not be as on it as he has up to now? I don't know, but it certainly adds a bit of spice to the tournament.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, to be honest, I think with getting the whole field against him, when we were going into the last 8, I think it was a definitely more stacked in my favour, that wager. Obviously, it should have been €10 with Jarlath being Irish, but
monopoly money.
Anyway, moving on from that, we did hear from Michael van Gerwen after his game today as well. So he spoke to Phil afterwards, and here he is.
As you know, I have to. People tell me to cool down a little bit. No. It's of course this year changed me a lot. You need to look everything in perspective, and everyone knows I'm coming from far. It's been a tough year, and I've had my battles here and there. But as long as you keep believing in your own ability, like I do at the moment, I think there's a lot possible. But step by step, don't make any mistakes, because I've made so many mistakes in my life, and I don't want to keep meteen doing it. That would be nice. People probably know the answer, but no, it's a tough one. It's a tough battle, but I love to face battles, and as long as I keep believing in my own ability, then the king will come back. I don't want to best this, best that. Just look at game by game, performance by performance, and I made a lot of mistakes in my life, and I've walked too quickly sometimes, but as long as you keep believing in your own ability, and tomorrow is another important game for me, I think that I can do some good damage in this tournament. But we're only in the semi-finals, guys. I've been in the semi-finals 8-9 times before, so I don't want to make too many mistakes.
It's starting to feel a little bit like these Michael van Gerwen interviews are a bit more like a therapy session rather than sort of anything else. Like we had him the other day talking about how much he missed his wife and his kids. And now today we're going to keep talking about how many mistakes he's made in his life.
I thought he was reading an extract from his autobiography, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a very odd one, wasn't it? But the key takeaway for him there is the fact that he thinks that he can return to being the best in the world, and he thinks he can go on and do this. So we will see. It's yet to be decided, but if he plays like he did today, he's going to have a really good chance. Someone that didn't have to be at the best today, unlike MVG, was Stephen Bunting to get past Peter Wright, who cruised into a 4-0 lead and then sort of just managed it out from there. There was a bit of a fight back from Peter Wright, but the Peter Wright we've seen for the last 2 rounds was nowhere to be seen. And we talked about how much he changed his darts. Should he have changed darts a few more times today, Carwin? Because they weren't working right for him today.
No, they didn't go for him today. And I had a suspicion maybe that this would happen, that his match against Luke Humphreys would be sort of his final, and getting through that would probably be his lot. And yeah, it felt like Wright's maybe underwhelming performance sort of took its toll on Stephen as well, because that wasn't the sort of performance I was expecting from him in terms of his scoring. And whilst he did score well, just was a bit flat today. And when you think sort of this game was put on in the evening and what have you, just didn't quite live up to the hype and expectation maybe I'd hoped as a sort of a starter for the main course of the Littler Aspinall match, which was to follow.
Yeah, it probably made Sky a little bit worried on how early they were getting Littler on, to be honest, with the fact that it got rattled through quite quickly. I think this was possibly a case of what we touched on the other night, that you can't try the mind games with Stephen Bunting. And even if you do, they don't work because he's just not interested in getting involved in it. And I think he alluded to that a little bit before when he was interviewed beforehand with Polly. And I think showed that he's just not arsed. He just gets up there. It's all about what he does and not what anyone else does or what anyone else says. And it just allows him to, well, it felt like today, he just managed the game, didn't he? God, he had levels he could have gone through if he wanted to, I feel like, if he got pushed, but he just never had to.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think look, when a lot of players sit here and tell us that they don't get involved in mind games, I tend to look at them and go, but do you? Has that affected you? Has that done anything to you? Bunting, I genuinely think, is that far off doing his own thing, selling pajamas or God knows what else, that he genuinely could not care what Peter Wright is saying to Phil Bars, sat in a media room 4 hours before a game. He just is not first one iota. You bang on by the fact that he just managed the game, did plenty in that game. I think, what did he finish with in the end? Was it 96?
Yeah, 95 and a half.
95, 43% on the doubles. Like, if that's James Wade, but waxing lyrical, that's 100 average, blah, 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 blah. It was as good as, like, the set that Wright wins to get back into it. He's averaged 103 for the 3-leg burst as Bunting starts getting a little bit edgy towards the finishing line, going, actually, this is probably all a little bit too easy. Sometimes players get that thought.
Yeah, I was going to say, I didn't feel like so much that he was sort of worried about the finishing line. It almost felt like he had to sort of turn it on again when he'd basically gone to sleep in going to 4-0 up because he wasn't having to do anything at all.
Yeah, he just looked so comfortable all day. Like, he's not had to go mental on the 180s or anything like that. Still got plenty in the tank. I think he's been tested enough in this tournament, so that won't be an issue that he's coasted through this either. But he does look really, really good.
Yeah, absolutely that. He does look really good, and he spoke to Phil Bars afterwards as well. So we've got a little clip from him, and then back we go.
Amazing, absolutely amazing. Obviously, little old me, Stephen Bunting, well number 25 last year. No one gave me a hope in hell chance, and like I said, I've worked really hard behind the scenes. I've been on the circuit now for a lot of years. I'm long in the tooth, like you said, and I've put the hours in, I've put the preparation in behind the scenes, and I've worked really hard to get where I am. So I'm super proud of everything that I've achieved so far in my career. If I finished playing darts tomorrow, I'd be a really happy man that what I've achieved, but I still believe there's a lot more years to come. I believe there's a lot more titles to come, but I need to really dig deep now and work really hard. Maybe not tomorrow, but when he was checking out the hotel the other day, he gave me a hug and he said he'd love me to take the title. So that means a lot to me, coming from a player like him and a really good friend as well. And it was an absolute honour, to be honest, to be able to practice with him. And we was locked away and we did 3 or 4 sessions, and it was amazing. It really did get us both in shape for the tournament. Unfortunately for Luke, it just didn't happen. But thankfully for me, it's really helped, and like I said, I'm still in the tournament and I can win it.
Little old me, by the way, who's a Masters champion, multiple major semi-finalist, if not finalist, and a former BDO world champion. Yeah, little old you.
Little old me, like he's not done anything, and he's never sort of achieved anything yet. We all know he's done plenty, and the thing is, he is still in this tournament, and there is still a good chance that he can go and lift the title. So.
Even like the way he sits in the press conference, he almost
still like side on.
I expected to have slippers on. It just to go back to what we were saying earlier about mind games. There's clearly nothing touches him. He's just relaxed, and it's good to see how he's transformed his career over the last year or so.
Yeah, 100%. Like, he's just one of the most likable guys out there, isn't he? He knows exactly what to do in terms of working social media and working the crowd and everything else. And he's doing a really good job of it. And if he can top that off with a world title, then, I mean, the sky is the limit for that man. Another man that the sky is the limit for is... He's just not even man yet, is he? Like, he's still a boy at this point. He's 17 years old. Luke Littler, another incredible performance. I felt like he gave Asp a couple of opportunities today. He felt like, again, he wasn't at his best yet. We look at it and he's played 29 legs at over 100 average with 15 180s and 45% on his doubles, and we think that's not him at his best. It's just utterly ridiculous, God, but 5-2 win for him over Nathan Aspinall. There were a couple of chances for us, like one dart to make it 2 each at the Bull, and he could realistically have been 3-3 in this game rather than 4-2 down. But even if he was, I'm still not sure he gets over the line in this game.
Yeah, Littler's just had so much firepower in this game, hasn't he? It's brilliant to see him in full flow. There's a couple of back-to-back 180s in there. Thinking maybe we're going to get that shot at the 9. He's definitely on pace to beat Michael Smith's record for 180s in the tournament. I think he needs 31 over the final and the semi-final, which, if you get enough sets out of your opponents, he's definitely got the ability to go and do that if he wins.
He's only had 7 sets today and got 15. He's got a very good chance.
Jar just pinched a stat. I'd seen it was 8 and 11, but gone over the 100 average again since debut at the World Championship.
Yeah, I think it was 7 in 10 before this, wasn't it?
Yeah, so it's 8 in 11. I can't remember. I've just seen that stat. I've just seen another unbelievable stat as well from Carl at Darts Tracker. Van Gerwen's into the semi-final without attempting a single dart at a bullseye checkout.
Really?
Which is mental. Absolutely mental. But yeah, look, Luke was absolutely superb. It was very friendly up on stage, which I was a little bit surprised to see. I get saying a lot's been made of the fact they're under the same management stable, and they've been, Aspinall's basically been there for him since he came onto tour last year. But I was very surprised to see that from Aspinall. I think that suits Luke a little bit. For Aspinall, I thought he needs to get fired up for a tear-up if he's going to get through this. And to see him walk on and be as friendly as he was, I think, not accepted defeat, but I don't think it was a tactic that worked in Nathan's favour.
Yeah, but I don't want to see, we love it when there's a bit of needle in a match and a bit of edge to it. But if you are mates, trying to manufacture or you get on, trying to manufacture some needle just for the sake of it is just bollocks. I'd rather see them being friendly and playing it like that. You can play against
not manufactured needle. I think once you get caught up and going, oh yeah, well done or whatever, there's no edge. You don't. If you're too busy giving them a fist bump because they've done something good, you're not getting fired up yourself to go and do one back, or you're less likely to be getting fired up.
See, I don't know.
I'm not saying they've got to be going and beating the living daylights out of each other or calling each other names under their breath or whatever. But I just think if you're giving that attention, you're not giving the focus to what you're doing. That's where Aspinall flourishes.
I don't know. I think if I'm playing Paul Sambrook down the pub, I'm going to give him as much as I can to try and beat him, but I'm still going to give him a nudge and a fist bump if he's took out a check out or whatever.
But you're not playing for 100 grand either, are you? That was sort of the winner of match with 100 grand.
Of it for them boys is what we play for.
Yeah, I know they're good mates as same manager, but I don't know. I just feel like Aspinall must be annoyed at the fact that Littler's come in under his stable and has basically just blown the darting world to pieces. If you want to get back to top dog, you've got to beat the man who's in that position. And high-fiving him for a 101 checkout to win, was it the 6th set or the 5th set? I can't remember now. To me, just sort of...
The 4th, to go 3-1 up rather than 2.
Yeah, just I don't know. Give it Lars. You want to win. That's the games. They're the games you want to win. Especially with the year Aspinall has had. He wins that game, and all of a sudden, 2024 is forgotten about. He started 2025 beating the hottest prospect in darts, and just all a bit too pally-pally for my liking. Yeah. Give me the boo boys.
I don't want to give him any more credit, but also they've played 7 times this year. Littler's won 6 of them. So then going, oh, well done again, is just accepting a little bit of this is how things go now for me.
Yeah, but I think that's just Ash's character. I think he's like that with most people, to be honest. I don't think he ever really, he's always just very fair, and he does what he does. If you've hit something decent, then he'll say well done. And if he's hit something decent, then he'll celebrate. But no, it's different for different people, isn't it, and what they need. But I didn't think there was anything wrong with it.
Yeah, if that's the way they want to play it, then fine. I'm not going to sit here and criticise, but for me, it didn't work in Aspinall's favour because I find him a character that needs to get fired up. Gary Anderson, to play his very best stuff, needs to get angry at someone. He's not going to do that if he's fist bumping Peter Wright every time he takes out a double-double combination. He's going to look at him, go as if, and get your foot down straight to the board sort of thing. That's how I see Aspinall in that same mould, and I get they're friends. I get they're close. We've been there, but I just don't think that suited Aspinall. I think that played into Luke's favour that little bit more. Because actually, when players have gone at Luke in this tournament, there have been opportunities.
Yeah, they have. And like you say, Aspinall had opportunities today as well. And I still don't think we've seen the full rounded performance from Luke yet. And that's the worrying thing for everyone else that's left in this tournament. That it still feels like there's more there, doesn't it, Colin?
Oh, definitely. And I think so far we've seen him do enough and show glimpses that the game is there. Sort of think back to that 32 dart set we saw in the first game, and we've seen glimpses in some of the matches along the way. But to me, so far, he's just done enough to make it to the semi-final without really having to get out of second gear. And I guess the big fear is if he needs to get out of second gear against Stephen Bunting, will he be able to switch it on just like that for 3, 4, maybe 5 sets? I'd imagine he will, because he's just sort of taking over DAS at the moment. But it'd be interesting to see if he's put under the cosh, will he be able to react quick enough not to fall 2 or 3 sets behind? And whilst he's very capable of closing that gap, I think Stephen Bunting's playing well enough, as we've seen tonight, to sort of be able to control a mini fight back from an opponent. So it'll certainly be an interesting semi-final, and one I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, 100%. Daniel said in the chat that Ash basically done to Littler what Pikachu did to Ash. I disagree. Like, we've seen the best performance from Ash of this tournament so far. Like, in terms of stats and everything that he did in the game, it's the best he's played at any point. So I just feel like Littler was just better on the night, and I don't really think anything else would have changed that.
Littler's had 14 more darts at a double than him. He had a chance to, like, that's the scoring average, bro.
Yeah, but it's just, if you look at his performance, like, his performance is miles better than it's been at any other point in this tournament, and he's not been bad on the doubles himself. Like,
so is it a worry then that he's
just not as good as Luke Littler is? I think that's the point. Like, if they both play to the best level, which they probably both didn't today, then Littler beats him. And if they both play the B game, which they both probably did today, then Littler beats him, and that's the problem.
Yeah, but is sort of long term, does that make it a problem for Asp then? As in, he's lost 6 of the last 7 games against him.
I think that's the problem with everyone on the tour, to be honest. If he plays his best, you aren't beating him.
True. Yeah.
What he does need to clean up a little bit, and like, we had a potential to back up the greatest leg of all time at one point in this leg, where Luke had already gone 6 perfects and Asp had gone 4 perfects, and he got caught up a little bit too much in the crowd and was having a bit of a laugh and stopped after that 4th dart. Now, I know it's sort of his character, it's sort of what he does, and he likes to play along and have a bit of fun while he's doing it. But in that moment, when you've thrown 4 perfect darts in a row, stay in your rhythm and just throw them.
Definitely. And I find that a bit strange. And I know he does enjoy interacting with the crowd and stuff, but in that moment in the game where you're under the cosh, you've got to try and blank it out and just focus on the job ahead. Because if you don't hit a 180, then you're chasing another leg, which, okay, you may not get another visit because Littler could take out the 9, but you've got to give yourself a shot of getting back into the leg. And it just seemed
like he was in a really good rhythm at that point, and he didn't feel like he needed to reset at that point. And then all of a sudden, he just stops to sort of, because the crowd have got up a little bit, he started laughing to himself and then had to stop himself rather than just committing to it and sort of keep going. But hey, who knows? I mean, sometimes that works, sometimes that doesn't work. And to be fair, the only other time I think we saw it a couple of other times. One of them was off the back of dropping a dart, which I sort of understand it more in that situation because you've got to stop and reset anyway at that point. We haven't yet got a clip from Luke
Yeah,
Littler.
good luck before the end of the show.
I
on that
assume
one.
it's
This will be our
absolute-
shortest show, and apparently
Yeah.
it's very busy in that press conference. So
Yeah, it'll be utter chaos trying to get that at the moment. So if we do get it before the end of the show, we will drop it in. If not, it will be in full on the channel later on. So make sure you go and check that out. So we are in to predictions already, and it feels like that's really quick. But I suppose it just there's less games now, and we are into it early on. We have got the running order already as well. It is, as you'd probably expect, Chris Doby against Michael Van Gerwen in the first semi-final, and then we've got Stephen Bunting against Luke Littler in the later game. Dob, we'll start with you. Obviously, everyone in the chat room get involved as well. This is your chance to tell us what you think is going to happen. We'll throw them all up on the screen as we go along as well and shout you out. Chris Doby, Michael Van Gerwen. Gob, where are you going? First to 6, of course, now for everyone, just to confirm.
it is. Two trains of thought here. One is that we've seen a very consistent performance from Van Gerwen that we're not used to seeing, and the chance of him backing that up become a little.
He's done 2 in a row.
Yeah, does he do that 2 in a row?
No, he's already done 2 in a row. He did it against De Graaf as well.
No, De Graaf fell off a cliff in the final 2 sets. Let's get it right.
No, but he still averaged 100 plus throughout.
They peaked and dipped at the same time in that one, whereas I think this was just a level of consistency from Van Gerwen in this one. I worry about the distance for Doby. Is my only worry, because even as a front runner that he is, there is so much time for Van Gerwen to just reel off one of his super sets.
Yeah.
And because of that, MVG shades it 6-4.
6-4 for Gob to MVG. Which way are you going, Carwin?
I think MVG wins as well. I think what we saw in the last 4 sets this evening, if he starts like that against Doby, I don't think Doby can bounce back. So I think MVG wins 6-3.
I've got a feeling that both of you are right, but I don't want to go the same way as both of you. I've been really impressed the last couple of days with Van Gerwen and the way that he's played. And I think Doby still misses too many chances. But does he just have a game where they go in? Is it just that slight dip off from Van Gerwen and Doby just all of a sudden gets comfortable along out the ring? Go on, sorry, I'll have the upset. I'm going to I'll be Dan Simpson for the night. Doby wins, and he wins. He's going to have to win it comfortably if he wins, so he wins it 6-2.
Brave.
I know, yeah. Very brave. In the chat room, we have got, I'm guessing this will be fairly split, to be honest, but Jonathan's with MVG 6-2. Norval's got it 6-3 for MVG. 6-2 for MVG for Adam. SJR's got it MVG 6-3. It's not very split so far. Alan 6-4 for MVG, as is Murder. Doby 6-5, there we go, Preston. I cannot see Doby winning it if it goes 6-5. I just think MVG will do the right things at the right time. MVG 6-4 for Shelty. Orbot's up there, 6-4 for MVG as well. Barry's got it for Doby 6-4. I think that might be also correct. I'll give him credit on that. But MVG 6-3 for Lorenzo. And then anyone else? Chris, Doby 6-0. Did not expect anything else from that. That is very much the Dan Simpson prediction. And Connor 6-3 for Doby, as is Hazzy as well. So it's sort of turned around a little bit towards the end there. Everyone at the start was on MVG, and then we got a few for Doby at the end. Barry's asked, what does Dan Simpson predict? It's 6-0. There's not even a doubt that's what he'll be predicting. He'll be sat at home with his predicting wine right now, saying that to himself over and over again, just trying to speak it into existence.
Jar's right. Dan did predict a Doby Littler final. I wasn't miles off of that. I think I had Bunting in a quarter, but losing to Humphreys. I had Doby there. I think I had him losing to Gary in the end. Obviously, who's then fallen earlier, would have played Michael in the last round. So,
while we are on predictions for the final, Anthony, when he was on the other night, we meant to do this as part of the show and didn't. I meant to get his prediction for finalists and winner. So we got them from him afterwards. He has Bunting beating Littler, MVG beating Doby, and MVG winning the final.
Interesting.
So
we got all 4 right last night then? Today?
He will have done that. Actually, I don't know. He might not have had MVG beating Doby. He had MVG winning at least. It could have been Price.
Or Gezi.
Yeah, it could have been Price that he had going through. But
I can't remember who we said in that game.
He's got at least 3
anyway. I think he may have gone Doby. I think he disagreed with me, which I couldn't believe. But clearly he understands more about dance than me.
Blind loyalty, Gerwen. Blind loyalty, pal.
Yeah, that's it. So, into the second semi-final, and as we mentioned, it is Stephen Bunting against Luke Littler. Carwin, your turn to go first. Which way are you going?
I'm going to go heart over head here, just because I've got so many predictions wrong. Why change the habit of a lifetime? And Bunting wins 6-4. Littler has an incredibly unpredictable off night, and Bunting has one of those special nights where everything goes for him. So yeah, Bunting to win. What did I say? 6-4.
Gob, are you with Carwin on this one?
No. I'd love to see it happen. I would absolutely love a Stephen Bunting world champion in 2 days' time. My logic here is that I don't think he does Littler and Van Gerwen back to back. And after I've already said Van Gerwen beats Doby, for the fact that then I'm very much in the camp Van Gerwen hasn't won enough, and it gets a little bit amusing if he continues not to win. I think I need Littler to win this one to then beat Van Gerwen and be back to back finals and all of that sort of stuff. So I'm going Littler. Again, the distance is an issue for me here for Bunting, and I think it's 6-3.
I don't know. I think Bunting's got levels above what we saw today. Well, we know he has. And I think when he's pushed, I think he finds them. And there's been opportunities for everyone against Littler. Now, I'm not saying there's been opportunities for everyone to beat him, but there's been opportunities to make it a lot closer and put him under pressure, and no one's really done it yet. Not enough, at least, anyway. Like, obviously, we saw Joyce push him all the way, but I still think he was still relatively comfortable for him in the end. I think Bunting can do it. I'm going 2 upsets here. I'm taking both of the upsets, and I think it goes deep though. Like, I don't think you'll beat Luke easy. So 6-5. Even for an absolute unbelievable end to the night. In the chat room, where are we going? Jack is with me. Bunting 6-5. Garth Eaton's got it 6-1 for Littler. He's not entertaining any even sniff of an upset. Luke 6-2 for Norville, 6-4 Littler for Alan. What's up's got it 6-3 for Littler. As Hazzy's on 6-2. Mike 6-3 Littler as well. Jonathan, get off the fence. You can't say heart. Sorry, yeah. Head official prediction 6-3. All right, I'll let you off. 6-3 Littler for Jonathan. 6-1 Littler for Andy. SJR's got it Bunting 6-4. He's with me and you, Carwin. Shelty's got it Littler 6-4. Adam 6-3 for Littler. James 6-4 for Littler. Patrick's got it 6-5. Thinks Bunting pushes him all the way and that he gets over the line on it. Then who else we got? Murder's Littler 6-3. Lorenzo's got it 6-5 for Bunting. He's gone with me. He's gone a little bit heart over head. Littler 6-4 for Daniel. Connor's got it 6-3 for Littler. And anyone else in there now as well? Yeah, Barry's got it Luke 6-3, Joel 6-1, and Andy 6-1 as well. And then Chris said it doesn't matter because Doby's bringing the trophy back, but Littler wins 6-3. I like to have the commitment to it from Chris there as well. He might as well. If Dan Simpson's not here to do it, someone's going to do it. And that is the prediction done. Before we end, Phil Bars is working overtime extra hard tonight because we have actually got a clip from Luke from his interview. So we'll play that out now at the end before we finish off. And as always, you can see the full one on the YouTube channel after you're done with us.
Yeah, but like you said, start to finish, I felt the best they have in this tournament so far. So hopefully tomorrow I can obviously regroup and come back again, and it can be the same feeling.
Heading in towards your second semi-final, how does this compare to last year? Because you were still kind of the underdog last year, where now obviously you're the odds-on favourite. How do the two compare?
Obviously, it's very different with the year I had last year, but just take it one game at a time. You can only beat what's in front of you.
He just speaks like a much more experienced man than he is, doesn't he? All the time.
It's a very media-trained response, that one, wasn't it? Come on, Luke, be raw.
Yeah, go rogue.
Yeah, we don't get any of that from Littler, to be fair. And
keep him out of trouble. He's a good lad.
Yeah, exactly that. So yeah, take it one game at a time and just do what you can do. And that's, to be fair, what all four of them will be trying to say to each other, to themselves at this point. But it's not possible, is it? You're at the semi-final stage of a World Championship. You're thinking about lifting that trophy and making and everything that comes with it.
Absolutely.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Place to lose, isn't it?
Especially with three of them sort of hoping to win it for the first time, as in, it's as much as you tell yourself it's only a game. It's not, as in it's a life-changing opportunity, really, isn't it? And for whoever wins it from here, the added bonuses that come with it are just massive for whoever does get over the line. But all four will think they can do it, which is a good thing. I don't think any of them will be sitting in their hotel room tonight thinking, that's my run over with tomorrow.
Yeah, I've done my bit now. I've sort of got no chance. I think, to be fair, they're pretty wide open, aren't they? There's none you're looking at and going, that's a walkover. Like, I know that everyone's sort of in Littler's camp based on what he's done for the last year, but there's no easy tie against Stephen Bunting.
No. I think when they play each other 6 million times next season, that gets a bit easier for Bunting as well. But there is still that element that everyone else that's playing him or within that has had this, especially if it's a Van Gerwen final, has had the opportunity to play him 4 billion times in the Premier League. When all four of the semi-finalists are included next year, they all get an opportunity to play each other a lot more in this stupid format.
Yes.
Tell us how you really feel, Mr. Garwood.
No.
Now that is, it seems like before we get into a debate about the travelling circus, let's leave it where it is and let's just wait for tomorrow, see what happens in the semi-finals. We'll be back again. It's definitely me and Carwin again. Are you racing us with your presence again tomorrow, Gob?
Possibly. It is the last one, isn't it?
Yeah.
We never do one after the final. That will be covered on the live lounge on the following Monday.
Well, yes and no, because that then becomes Q School.
Oh, of course it does.
Oh yeah.
Oh, do we throw in a little final fallout block?
I don't know. I'll have to speak to the Ginger Man.
Yeah, the famous Mr. Phil Bars.
Famous, yeah.
To give him his full title.
Yeah. I don't know what our plan is next week. I haven't got that far. I don't even know what I'm doing tomorrow. Katie's back at work and I've still got another week.
Oh, that's nice for you. I'm back at work tomorrow.
Yeah.
But we've only got an evening session tomorrow, so that's fine. So I will not miss, I've not really missed any arts as it is anyway, but I will not, yes, of course. Yeah, it's all right.
Can we do some odds quickly? Do we want the betting update on to win the title?
As well, with the sponsors, Paddy Power.
Yeah,
as always, if you are going to bet,
make sure what we're doing. Littler still remains the 8-13 favourite.
It's coming a little bit then. He was 8-11, wasn't he, before that game? So
Van Gerwen available at 5-2. Interesting, Stephen Bunting 7-1, whilst Doby is the outsider in the field at 11-1.
Yeah, that is an odd one because if you've only got Van Gerwen at a 5-2 shot, I would expect his opponent to be lower in the odds than that. But I suppose they're probably looking at it going, he's got to beat Van Gerwen and Littler. He's got to beat the top two in the field.
Yeah, but Bunting's got to beat Littler and then possibly Van Gerwen.
Well, that's true, but he could be playing Doby.
Yeah.
Whereas Doby definitely
could be playing Bunting.
We'll leave it up to them. There's some value there.
I think there's some value there. I certainly think there's some value with Stephen Bunting at 7-1. It's actually gone out slightly. That we were talking about this in our group chat with the lads before, and he was 13-2 straight after the game. So he's actually gone out a little bit to 7-1. I quite like the value on that. Obviously, at this stage, it is just win only. There's no each way shot for making a final at this point. But obviously, you can get that value if you just go for the Cam McFarlane double, as I'm going to call it, at 13.38-1 of the upset double of Chris Doby and Stephen Bunting both making the final.
And if you listen to Cam for financial advice, it's your own silly fault.
Yes. If you put £10 on any of my tips, what happens is you lose £10. That's how it works.
But do so responsibly.
Yes, responsibly. Do not put £10 on anything I tell you to put £10 on. But yeah, as always, if you are having a punt, begambleaware.org. Make sure you're 18 and over, and make sure you use Paddy Power because they are just the best of all the bookies.
Right.
On that note, we will end, and that has been day 14 at the Paddy Power World Darts Championship. 2 days to go. At least one more Fallout bar to go tomorrow with probably the three of us again. Possibly another one if we get onto that, like we say, because it is clashing with Q School. When we get into the Monday, there is literally no break for the players. They're straight back in on Monday. So, yeah, we may have another one before then, but certainly tomorrow night we'll all be back. Thank you, everyone, for getting involved as always, and we will see you tomorrow.